What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this, you probably already know what happened. But if you don't, buckle up because today we're talking about one of the most insane moments in fashion history. We're talking about the day Jungkook from BTS literally broke the internet. Not metaphorically, literally broke Calvin Klein's website in a matter of minutes. This isn't just another celebrity endorsement story. This is about the raw power of one person's influence, the dedication of millions of fans, and a moment that made major fashion brands around the world sit up and take notice. So smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive into the chaos that was Jungkook's Calvin Klein debut. Let me set the scene for you. It's March 2023. The fashion world is buzzing because Calvin Klein, one of the most iconic American fashion brands, just announced something huge. They revealed that Jungkook, the golden Maknae of BTS, would be their new global brand ambassador. Now, this wasn't just any collaboration. Calvin Klein has a legendary history of working with the biggest names in entertainment. We're talking Mark Wahlberg in the 90s, Kate Moss, Justin Bieber, Kendall Jenner, Shawn Mendes. The list goes on. But what happened with Jungkook was on a completely different level. The announcement itself was already making waves. Social media went absolutely crazy. Twitter was on fire, Instagram was exploding, and ARMY worldwide were losing their minds. But nobody, and I mean nobody, was prepared for what would happen when the actual campaign dropped. Calvin Klein teased the campaign with some preview images. And guys, let me tell you, these weren't just ordinary fashion photos. Jungkook embodied everything Calvin Klein stands for. The raw aesthetic, the minimalist vibe, the confidence, the sensuality. It was perfect. Too perfect, actually, because what came next was pure chaos. When Calvin Klein finally released the full campaign and the photos went live on their website, something unprecedented happened. Within literal minutes, their website crashed. Not slowed down, not experiencing heavy traffic. Crashed. Completely down. Unavailable. Error messages everywhere. Imagine this. You're Calvin Klein's IT team. You've prepared for a big launch. You've probably stress-tested your servers. You think you're ready. And then suddenly, millions of people from all over the world simultaneously flood your website. Your servers can't handle it. Everything goes dark. That's exactly what happened. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This wasn't just a one-time thing. The website crashed multiple times throughout the day. Every time they managed to get it back up and running, the sheer volume of traffic would overwhelm it again. It was like trying to hold back a tsunami with a surfboard. ARMY were so determined to see the photos, to support Jungkook, to buy the products, that they kept refreshing and trying to access the site. The demand was absolutely insane. And this wasn't just happening in Korea or Asia. This was global. Fans from every continent, every time zone, all converging on Calvin Klein's website at once. Social media during this time was absolutely hilarious. Fans were posting screenshots of error messages, making memes about crashing the website, joking about how they broke Calvin Klein. The hashtags were trending worldwide. Jungkook Calvin Klein, Jungkook Calvin Klein. All of these were dominating Twitter's trending page globally. But let's talk numbers for a second, because this is where things get really mind-blowing. According to various reports and social media analytics, the campaign generated over 15 billion media impressions in just the first few days. Billion with AB. That's not a typo. The Instagram posts featuring Jungkook became some of Calvin Klein's most liked posts ever. We're talking millions of likes within hours. The engagement rates were through the roof. Comments were pouring in faster than anyone could read them. The brand's social media following skyrocketed. And it wasn't just digital chaos. Physical stores saw massive increases in foot traffic. People were going to Calvin Klein stores, specifically looking for the pieces Jungkook wore in the campaign. Some items sold out almost immediately. Store employees were overwhelmed with customers asking about the Jungkook collection. Now, you might be wondering, why did this happen? What makes Jungkook's influence so powerful that it could literally crash a major fashion brand's website? First, let's talk about ARMY. BTS's fanbase isn't just large, it's incredibly organized and dedicated. When ARMY decides to support something, they move as one. They're coordinated, they're passionate, and they're everywhere. When Jungkook's Calvin Klein campaign was announced, ARMY mobilized globally to show support. Second, Jungkook himself has this unique appeal that transcends typical celebrity endorsements. He's not just famous, he's beloved. Fans feel a genuine connection to him. His authenticity, his talent, his personality, all of these create a level of loyalty that's rare in the entertainment industry. Third, the timing was perfect. This campaign came during a period when BTS members were pursuing individual projects due to their military service commitments. Fans were eager to support each member's solo endeavors. Jungkook's Calvin Klein partnership was one of the first major solo fashion deals announced, so the anticipation was already through the roof. Fourth, the campaign itself was just really good. Calvin Klein didn't just slap Jungkook's face on some products and call it a day. They created a comprehensive campaign that showcased different sides of Jungkook. There were photo shoots, videos, behind-the-scenes content. The creative direction was on point, and it resonated with both existing fans and new audiences. But here's what makes this story even more fascinating. The website crash actually became part of the campaign's success story. In marketing, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. Well, crashing a website because of too much demand, that's actually the best kind of publicity. Every major media outlet covered the story. Fashion magazines, entertainment news sites, business publications, everyone was talking about how Jungkook broke Calvin Klein's website. It became a testament to his influence and drawing power. Other brands were taking notes. Trust me, Calvin Klein's response to all of this was actually pretty smart. Instead of being frustrated about the technical issues, they leaned into it. They acknowledged the overwhelming response on social media, thanked fans for their enthusiasm, and used the momentum to keep the conversation going. The brand shared additional content, released more photos, and kept engaging with the community. They understood that this level of organic engagement and genuine excitement was something money couldn't buy. This wasn't just advertising. This was a cultural moment. Let's also talk about the economic impact, because this goes beyond just website traffic. Fashion industry analysts estimated that the campaign drove millions of dollars in sales for Calvin Klein. The brand saw a significant boost in both online and in-store purchases. Products associated with the campaign were flying off shelves. But it wasn't just about immediate sales. The campaign also dramatically increased brand awareness, especially among younger demographics and in Asian markets. Calvin Klein gained millions of new followers across their social media platforms. They tapped into a market that was already massive and continuing to grow. For context, let's compare this to other major fashion campaigns. When Justin Bieber collaborated with Calvin Klein, it was huge. When Kendall Jenner became a brand ambassador, it made waves. But neither of those campaigns crashed the website. Neither generated quite this level of immediate, overwhelming response. What Jungkook did was demonstrate something that the fashion industry is still trying to fully understand: the power of K-pop influence on a global scale. This wasn't just about one celebrity endorsing a brand. This was about a global cultural phenomenon intersecting with high fashion. The ripple effects of this campaign went far beyond Calvin Klein. other luxury and fashion brands started paying much more attention to K-pop idols as potential brand ambassadors. We saw a surge in K-pop and fashion collaborations in the months following this campaign. Jungkook essentially opened doors and proved the incredible marketing potential of these partnerships. For Jungkook personally, this campaign solidified his status as a fashion icon. He wasn't just a musician doing a fashion deal. He became recognized as someone who could genuinely move the needle in the fashion industry. Major fashion publications featured him. He was invited to exclusive events. His influence in fashion became undeniable. And let's not forget the photos themselves. Once everyone finally managed to access the website and see the full campaign, the response was universally positive. Fashion critics praised the aesthetic. Fans celebrated how well Jungkook embodied the brand. The images became iconic in their own right. The campaign showcased Jungkook's versatility. There were edgy, moody shots. There were softer, more intimate moments. There were powerful, confident poses. Each image told a story and showcased a different facet of his personality and appeal. It wasn't just about looking good in clothes. It was about creating art. What's also interesting is how this campaign affected Calvin Klein's brand perception. The brand, which had been seen as somewhat traditional or classic, suddenly felt fresh and relevant again. By partnering with Jungkook, they connected with a younger, more diverse global audience. It was a strategic masterstroke. The behind-the-scenes content that was released later gave fans even more to love. Seeing Jungkook's professionalism during the shoot, his interactions with the crew, the creative process, all of this added layers to the campaign. It wasn't just about the final product. The journey mattered too. Now, let's talk about what this means for the future. The success of Jungkook's Calvin Klein campaign has set a new benchmark for celebrity endorsements and brand partnerships. It's shown that with the right collaboration, the impact can be absolutely massive. Brands are now more aware than ever of the importance of digital infrastructure. If you're going to launch a major campaign with someone who has this level of influence, your website better be able to handle the traffic. Calvin Klein learned this lesson in real time, and I'm sure other brands took note. For fans, this was a moment of pride. ARMY loves to support BTS members, and being able to tangibly demonstrate that support through engagement, purchases, and creating a viral moment felt empowering. It was a way of showing the world just how much Jungkook and BTS mean to their global fan base. The campaign also sparked important conversations about representation and diversity in fashion. Seeing a Korean artist become the face of such an iconic American brand was significant. It represented a shift in how global fashion operates and who gets to be at the center of these major campaigns. Looking at the long-term impact, this collaboration benefited everyone involved. Calvin Klein got unprecedented exposure and sales. Jungkook cemented his status as a global fashion icon. And ARMY got to be part of a historic moment in both music and fashion history. The memes that came out of this whole situation were legendary. Fans joked about needing to add crashed Calvin Klein's website to Jungkook's list of achievements. There were funny edits, reaction videos, and countless posts celebrating the chaos. The humor and joy around this event made it even more memorable. What I find most impressive about this whole story is how it demonstrates the changing landscape of influence and marketing. Traditional celebrity endorsements are one thing, but what Jungkook represents is something new. It's the power of genuine connection, global reach, and a dedicated community all coming together. So what can we learn from the day Jungkook crashed Calvin Klein's website? First, never underestimate the power of a dedicated fan base. Second, authenticity matters. Fans could tell this wasn't just a transaction, it was a genuine partnership that made sense. Third, in the digital age, technical preparedness is just as important as creative excellence. This moment will be remembered as a defining point in the intersection of K-pop and global fashion. It proved that K-pop idols aren't just musicians, they're cultural forces who can impact industries far beyond music. Jungkook didn't just model for Calvin Klein, he created a phenomenon. And honestly, this is just the beginning. As BTS members continue their individual projects and eventually reunite, we're going to see more of these impactful collaborations. The Jungkook and Calvin Klein partnership set the standard for what's possible. So there you have it, guys. The story of how Jungkook literally broke the internet, crashed Calvin Klein's website multiple times, and created one of the most successful fashion campaigns in recent memory. All in a day's work for the golden Maknae, right? What did you think about the Calvin Klein campaign? Were you one of the people trying to access the website when it crashed? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into this iconic moment, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future content. Until next time, stay stylish, stay inspired, and remember, never underestimate the power of Jungkook and ARMY. Peace out.